the bus stop, Linda walked up to me with a big smile. "So you and Carson, huh?" "No, not at all. The girls just love him to death and they wanted him to come along." "Don't give me that. I saw how he looked at you." I gave her a confused look. "I'm not sure what you saw, but God's honest truth, there is nothing going on between us." "Well, I can tell you one thing. All you have to do is say the word and he's yours. And I don't mean for a night either. That guy loves you." I actually laughed at her. "I'm flattered you would say so, but that's absurd. He wants nothing to do with a single mother, trust me. The girls have him wrapped around their fingers." "Okay, we will see." Walking back, I was confused. Carson had seemed to change lately, but I still highly doubted he wanted anything to do with me. He flat out told me he was selfish and wanted nothing to do with a single mother. Thursday, it was time to go back to work. Once again, I decided not to invite Carson over for breakfast. Linda's words kept repeating themselves to me in my mind. I didn't believe her at all, but no sense tempting fate. When I got to work, it was a madhouse. There was a bug going around, and out of our normal evening staff of 80 people, 18 had called in leaving me to put out fires everywhere. I got paged to one of our bars that one of the kegs was empty and needed to be changed. Some of the imported drinks are quite expensive and are kept in a locked cooler. Before I showed up, some of the bartenders had managed to steal dozens of them over a year's time. Now there are security procedures, which just makes more work for everyone. One of the barbacks was waiting for me, in a hurry, as there was a bar of thirsty customers. As soon as I opened the door, he grabbed a step stool to get one of the kegs that was on the second shelf. He was in such a hurry he didn't dry his hands before picking up one of the heavy kegs. Time seemed to go into slow motion as it slipped out of his wet fingers, bouncing off the corner of the step stool, ricocheting right at me. I tried to turn and run, but I hadn't even taken a step before I felt it slam into my legs. I passed out.
Chapter 6. Carson. I was sitting in the living room watching Thursday night football when my phone rang. It was a local number, but since I didn't recognize it, I hit decline. Within a minute, the same number called again. Since it was a commercial, I decided I may as well see who's blowing up my phone. "Hello." "Hello, is this Carson?" "Yes, who's this?" "This is Amber at St. Joseph's Hospital. Do you know Tina?" Instantly, the TV was off and I was on the edge of my seat. "Yes, what's wrong?" "Before I can talk to you, I need to know your relationship to her." I thought quickly what to say so they would talk to me. "I'm her children's nanny." "Are the children with you now?" "Yes, but they're sleeping." "Tina was in an accident tonight and suffered a broken leg that required surgery. We went into her phone and you are her most frequent contact, so we reached out to you first. She will be fine, but she will need to be kept at least overnight. Are you okay with the children, or do I need to send social services for them?" "Of course I'm okay with them. Is she awake? How bad is it?" "We are going to keep her asleep until tomorrow morning. She will be fine, but I really can't tell you anything more." "Okay, I will get the girls to school in the morning and be down." I was thankful that I had asked for a key. I decided to sleep in their living room recliner just in case they woke up in the middle of the night. I set my alarm, but couldn't fall asleep for hours. When I did, it was only for a brief time before I woke again, worried. I decided to tell the girls a little white lie, and that their mom had to stay late at work. No sense worrying them all day. Thankfully, they bought it, and I was able to get them to school without an issue. The moment they were on the bus, I was in my Jeep, heading to the hospital. I was able to bluff my way into her room, claiming to be her nanny. When I saw her, my heart broke. She was awake, but obviously in pain. When she saw me, she broke down crying. I sat on the side of her bed and just held her hand while she cried. "Where are the girls?" "I sent them to school. The hospital wouldn't tell me anything, and I didn't want to scare them." She just nodded her head at me, still sniffling. "This is probably my fault for jinxing you. If you hadn't given me that key, it wouldn't have happened." "Nah." "I'm sure it would have, but I'm glad you were there for the girls." "What happened?" "Some jerk dropped a keg full of drink." "How bad is it?" "I don't know yet. I just woke up a little while ago." I sat on the side of her bed, holding her hand. One leg was in a plaster cast that went to the top of her knee. The other one was in a walking boot. Nurses kept coming in and out, checking on her. Finally, the surgeon came in. He said one leg had a compound fracture and he repaired it with surgery. The second leg had a hairline fracture and would be okay in a walking boot. However, she had to stay completely off everything for 2 weeks, and if she made it through the day okay, she would be able to go home tonight. I never left her side and never let go of her hand. After lunch, she was starting to feel a little better. Finally, the realization of her situation dawned on her. I don't know what I'm going to do. What do you mean? I live on the second floor with 2 little girls and I can't walk up the stairs or walk at all. I don't know how long I will be off work, how I will take care of the girls, or even how to take care of myself. Those are all little problems. What else is wrong? She obviously didn't like my humor as she glared at me and released my hand. It's easy for you to joke. You work from home. Tina, the only difference is now I have 3 little girls to watch over. I can get you up the stairs, no problem. I can get the girls to and from school with no problem. I can even make a meal here and there. Why would you do that? Because you need my help. What do you get out of it? Karma. What does karma have to do with it? This isn't the place to have that discussion. Do you trust me that I will help you with no strings attached? Do I have a choice? There is always a choice, but this is the best one. Okay. Soon it was time for me to go to the bus stop and pick up the girls. Do you want me to bring them here, or get them situated at home until you get there? I would rather them not see me here if possible. I went back home, picked up the girls, got them in the apartment, picked up a temporary wheelchair, and went back to the hospital just as they were processing her release. They left her in her hospital gown instead of trying to dress her. They wheeled her out to my waiting Jeep, where I waited with the door open. Okay, here comes the first part of trusting me. Reach around my neck and hold on tight as I pick you up. She did as I asked, and I was able to gently place her in the front of my Jeep. When we got to the apartment building, I carried the wheelchair up to the second floor. Then I came back down and carried her up to the stairs and gently put her in it. Okay, let me go prepare the girls and then you can wheel yourself in, okay? Yeah, good idea. I went to their apartment and let myself in. I was happy that they were in the living room watching TV. Hey girls. Hey Carson. I need to talk to you. Please turn off the TV. Once they did, I sat them down. Your mom was in an accident, but she is okay. Immediately tears started rolling down their faces. She is outside, let's bring her in, okay? They didn't even wait for me. They rushed to the door and saw their mom in the hallway, smiling weakly at them. Hey girls, I'm okay. She wheeled herself in and immediately started answering all their questions. Finally, they asked the important question. But Mom, who's going to take care of you? I'm going to see if that's okay with you girls. They both shook their heads, yes. Okay, are you guys hungry? Yes. I leaned down to Tina. Do you need anything before I make you guys dinner? I could tell by the look in her eye what she needed, and she hated the thought of it. She pulled me down and whispered in my ear. I need to go to the bathroom. I'm going to pick you up and carry you in there. I assume you're still going commando under your robe? What does that mean? That you're naked under it. Oh yeah. Well, that will make things much easier. I'm going to carry you in there and sit you down. When you're done, all you need to do is text me and I will come and get you. My God, I'm so embarrassed. Why, because you're human and need to use the bathroom sometimes. Don't worry about it. We won't make it weird and everything will be fine. Okay. I picked her up and carried her into the bathroom, only slightly hitting her head on the doorway. I'm glad she is a petite woman. I sat her down on the toilet and helped her shimmy up her robe and shut the door behind me. Meanwhile, I went to the kitchen to see what I could find for an easy dinner. Hey girls, do pancakes and eggs sound good for dinner? They both thought it was a good idea, so I started laying out the ingredients until Tina texted me. I went into the bathroom to find her blushing beet red. I picked her up and carried her back into the living room. Would you like your recliner or wheelchair? Recliner, please. I laid her down in her recliner and gently raised up the footrest and made sure she was comfortable. How is your pain level? It's getting up there again. Do you want a pill now or with dinner? I'll wait so I can eat something with it. I quickly whipped up some pancakes for us all and we had a little picnic on the living room floor sitting around her recliner. After we were done, I put the girls in her lap and started cleaning the kitchen. By then it was already past the girls' bedtime. Although they didn't want to, they started getting ready for bed. Girls, tell me when you're in bed and Mom will tuck you in. That gave them a little more motivation and soon they yelled they were ready. I surprised Tina when I picked her up, carried her into their room, and sat her on each side of their beds to tuck them in. I wanted to make this as easy as possible for all of them.
Tina. Carson was being a true hero, letting me tuck in the girls. When we were done, he carried me into my room and sat me on the side of the bed. Okay, I plan on sleeping on your couch. Would you rather sleep in here? Or would the recliner be more comfortable? I think the recliner. Okay. Do you have a long nightshirt you would rather wear? Or are you happy in the hospital robe? A nightshirt? This thing is horrible. Okay, where should I get it? I pointed to the top right drawer of my dresser. I was in too much pain to be embarrassed at him going through my sleepwear drawer. Okay, we can do this the hard way or the easy way. Which do you prefer? What are my choices? Well, I can leave the room and let you struggle trying to get it off and on, or I can just close my eyes and help you. At this point, the pain med was kicking in and all I wanted to do was sleep. I didn't care and raised my arms up. Just do it. He walked around the other side of the bed and pulled on the robe until it was up to my waist. Then he walked back to the front of me. Your arms aren't broken. I'll turn my back. Let me know when you have the shirt on. Believe it or not, it was still a bit of a struggle, mainly because I was so worn out and the robe wasn't the easiest thing to get off. Once I had my nightshirt on and down to my waist, I was ready. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Do you want to use the bathroom or anything before you try to sleep? Yeah, I better. We repeated the earlier process. This time I wasn't quite as embarrassed. He put me in the recliner with my feet up, brought me a pillow and blanket off my bed and tucked me in like a little child. The only thing missing was a goodnight kiss. I'll be right here on the couch if you need anything. Good night. Before he even turned out the lights, I was sound asleep. When I woke up, I was surprised to see it was mid-morning. The girls were sitting at the table eating cereal, and I suddenly realized it was Saturday. Seeing I was awake, Carson brought me a pain pill and a glass of orange juice.
Yeah, baby.
You should eat something with that. What can I get you? How about just some toast? Okay, coming up. Once again, I was surprised by Carson. I could see that he had already cleaned the kitchen up, and now he brought my juice and was making toast. I think the kindest thing Raoul had ever done for me was buy dinner once a week so I didn't have to cook. He brought me 2 pieces of buttered toast on a plate. Let me know when you want to use the bathroom, then I'm going to do some shopping. After he got me in the wheelchair, I noticed he had even thrown a load of laundry in the washing machine. Okay, girls. I'm going to go do some shopping. Keep an eye on your mom and call me if you need anything. Do you need me to pick anything specific for you? No, I think I'm good, thanks. Well, if you think of anything, call or text me. After he left, I decided to make my weekly call to my mom and break the news to her. She was concerned and ready to hop on a plane to take care of us until I finally broke down and told her Carson was staying here taking care of us. That turned the whole conversation around about who this guy was that I trusted to stay with us and take care of me and the girls. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore, and I told her he was gay, even though the thought of Carson not liking women made me laugh. I started getting tired and uncomfortable in the wheelchair. I was hoping Carson would be home soon so I could get out of it. I decided it was going to be a long couple of weeks until I could get onto crutches. When he did get back, the first thing he did was make sure I was taken care of. Then he made us all a late lunch, once again doing the dishes. Then he started bringing stuff in from his shopping trip. The first things that were brought in were a bar stool and a plastic patio chair, making me very curious. What are you doing with those? Well, I figured you could sit on the bar stool while brushing your teeth or whatever in the bathroom. I know you will not want to go without a shower for 2 weeks, so I will set the patio chair in the tub. I started laughing, imagining how funny I will look, but I had to admit they both made sense. He also brought in enough groceries to feed an army. Holy cow, how many people are you planning on feeding? Well, I wanted to make sure I didn't have to leave you every day, so I got plenty. That afternoon, I realized how thoughtful he was by thinking ahead. I started feeling grungy and wanted nothing more than a hot shower. Hey Carson, how do you plan on me taking a shower? Well, I will wrap your cast in a garbage bag and tape it up. Your walking boot we can just take off. Okay, can we do that? A shower sounds really, really good right now. He carefully took off my walking boot and wrapped my cast in a garbage bag. He set the patio chair in the tub and asked me what I needed for my shower. Okay. I will set you in the chair and send Emily in to turn on the water for you once you're undressed. She can sit in here with you until you're ready to get out. Okay. How are you going to get your shirt over your waist while you're sitting down? I don't know. Well, if you trust me, we can just hike it up to your waist when I carry you in. Then when I leave, you can take it the rest of the way off. I'm sure I blushed at the thought of my bare butt hanging out while he was carrying me in his arms, but it sounded like the most logical solution. Okay, I guess it can't get much worse for my dignity. Okay, hold on. When we got into the bathroom, he used his free hand to pull up my nightgown until it was up to my hips. I couldn't believe it, but I was instantly turned on by him doing it. He put one foot in the tub and gently set me down. When he did, I let out a yelp. What's wrong? Are you okay? Yeah, the plastic is just cold on my bare butt. It was his turn to blush, and it made him look so cute. I'm sorry. I will warm it up first next time. I'll send Emily in. By the time she got in, I had my nightgown off and was ready for some hot water. She got it running and then turned it to shower. I've never felt anything so relaxing in all my life. How is that, Mom? It feels so good. I sat there until the hot water ran out. Emily handed me a towel and a clean nightshirt and sent Carson in to carry me out. When he walked in, his eyes widened a little and he blushed once more. Do you feel better? Oh, so much better. It is amazing what a little hot water can do for you. Yeah, I bet. Back to the recliner? Yeah, sounds good. Okay, when I pick you up, your nightshirt should just fall down around you. It was then I realized that my new nightshirt was a little more sheer than I had remembered. I thought no wonder he is embarrassed. He reached down and lifted me up like it was nothing. It felt good having my arms around his neck holding on, realizing how nice his muscles felt against the sheer shirt. When he sat me down, he immediately handed me a blanket to cover myself with before putting my boot back on and unwrapping my cast. The feel of his hands on my bare legs turned me on even more. Unfortunately, the sight of him on his knees holding my legs made it even worse. Please, please don't smell me, I thought.
Chapter 7. Carson. When I went to get Tina out of the shower, I almost died. I'm not sure if it was intentional or not, but she wore a very sheer nightshirt that left almost nothing to the imagination. For one of the first times in my life, I was flustered in front of a woman. When I lifted her up, she seemed to hold me a little tighter as I caught a whiff of her body wash. I sat her down in her recliner and handed her a light blanket to cover up with. I think she was slightly embarrassed as well. I'm sure she isn't used to having to be careful what she wears in her own home. When I kneeled down to unwrap her cast and put her boot on, I couldn't help but admire how nice her legs were. I dried off her foot and leg really well and started putting on her walking boot when I felt her tremble slightly. Then suddenly my nose caught the unmistakable musk of a woman. I was shocked. Tina had never shown any inclination that she was attracted to me. I decided that it had to be the pain meds messing with her. After I got her situated and myself calmed down, I got their laundry caught up, cooked, and cleaned up the kitchen, much to the chagrin of Tina. She hated the fact that I was doing everything for her, but it's not like she could do anything for herself. Sunday night, the girls were in bed early since it was a school night. I was tired and ready to relax with a drink. Tina, do you mind if I have a drink? No, why would I mind? Just making sure it's your apartment after all. Knock yourself out. Okay, I'm going to go back to my place, get ready for bed, grab a drink, and I'll be back. Do you need anything? Nope, I'm good. When I got back, I sat back on the couch, took a sip, and let out a satisfied sigh. Carson. Yeah? Why are you doing all this? Because you need my help, and I can. What did you mean before about karma? My parents lost their life in a car accident when I was 5. I was thrown into the foster care system. I can't begin to tell you how horrible it is for children. I stayed with one set of parents for 2 years when I was 8 years old. They would leave me home alone all night all the time. There were times the tornado sirens were going off, and I cried myself to sleep in the closet. Oh my God, Carson, that's why you volunteered with the girls so much. Yeah, Part of it, I know how it feels to be home alone. When I was 14, I was sent to live with another set of parents who were both school teachers. I was way behind in school, scared of everything, depressed, and had no friends. They took me in and treated me like their own child. They literally saved my life. Without them, I would either be in prison or dead by now. When I graduated, I asked them how I could ever repay them. He told me one day someone would need my help. How I responded is how I would repay them. I understand you so much better now. I laughed, and is that a good thing or a bad thing? She actually gave me a flirtatious smile. That's my secret. The next morning I was up early getting the girls off to school. I needed to get back to work since I took Friday off. Tina, I need to get back to work. Would you like to hang out with me at my place or just text me when you need me? I may as well hang out with you if it won't bother you. Nah, you will probably be amused by my chaos. I'll walk the girls to the bus stop and then come get you. Okay. When I got back, I moved my big recliner into my office so she could be comfortable. When I went over to get her, she was in tears. What's wrong? The human resources she-devil just called me. She's hated me since day one for some reason. She said that I was negligent in causing the accident and the hotel's insurance wouldn't cover my medical bills and the only pay I will get is my accrued sick days and vacation pay. Is that so? Yeah. Come on, let's go to my place and I'll fix it. Carson, I know you're awesome, but you just can't fix everything. You think I'm awesome? She just rolled her eyes at me. I picked her up and carried her over to my place and sat her in my favorite chair. I grabbed a pen and paper and sat my phone on the arm of her chair and hit record. Dial the number. It rang twice before the she-devil answered. Human resources. Hi. This is Carson Dossett. I'm here with Tina Cohen. Yes, how may I help you? I'm a certified financial planner and we are trying to make some plans for Tina. I wanted to clarify a few things if I may. Okay, go ahead. By the way, this call is being recorded since I have a terrible memory. First, you informed Ms. Cohen that all medical expenses will be borne by her and her insurance company. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Okay, fine. Secondly, she is allowed to use her accrued vacation and sick days but no workman's comp, correct? Yes, that's correct. Okay, last question. Have you filed a report with OSHA, and if so, may we have a copy? No, we haven't. Okay, that's all I need to know for today. Thank you for your time. I hung up and looked at her smugly. Okay, your problems will be solved within 30 minutes. You need to decide what you want most from them. What do you mean? Do you want a cash settlement, a raise, different hours, or a promotion? I don't understand. Just think about it, but don't take too long. They will be calling shortly. When they do, make sure you put it on speaker. Sure enough, her phone started ringing within 20 minutes. She put it on speaker so I could hear. Tina, this is Tony. I'm here with our general manager, Mr. Elliott. He is going to take the call from here. Hello, I'm still here with my financial advisor, Carson Dossett. Mr. Dossett, may I ask what type of financial advisor you are? And what certification you have? Yes, Mr. Elliott, I'm a federally licensed certified financial analyst. I'm also certified in Colorado to be a personal financial advisor. If you need copies of any of my certifications, I will be happy to email them over to you. Okay, good enough, thank you. Tina, I understand our personal manager has given you some wrong information. Okay, why is that? I'm not sure why, but suffice it to say she doesn't work here anymore. Okay, wow. First, we will address your medical bills. All medical bills and expenses will be 100% paid for by the hotel. Any questions so far? No. Great. Secondly, you will receive workers' comp pay the entire time you're off work without having to use any sick pay or vacation. Any questions? I have a question. Yes, Mr. Dossett. At what percentage of her usual salary will her workman's comp pay be? I believe the standard rate is 60% of her base pay while she is off work. Okay, understood. Mr. Elliott, I understand you asked for a copy of the OSHA report, is that correct? Yes, it is. May I ask why? Federal law states if there is a workplace injury requiring hospitalization, an OSHA report must be filed within 24 hours of the incident. Your human resources manager indicated that Ms. Cohen was negligent and caused the accident. We wanted to see how the report stated she was negligent before deciding how to proceed. Proceed as in? Let's just leave it at that. I'm not a lawyer, just a financial advisor. I see. Ms. Cohen, I believe I should speak to our in-house counsel before proceeding any further. Will you be available for another call later today? I'm sitting here in a wheelchair, not much else I can do besides answer the phone. Okay, thank you for your time. With that, they hung up, and Tina just looked at me stunned. What just happened? What your human resources manager did was illegal. When I started asking questions, she panicked and fessed up to someone. Now they are in damage control. Am I going to get fired? Not a chance in hell. We will get you paid in full the entire time you're off at full wages, not 60%. We can also ask for some pain and suffering pay, or you can use your leverage for something else. Right now, your general manager is talking to their lawyer to find out how much it is going to cost them to fix this. Like what? A raise, a promotion, better hours, etc. Oh. So what is the one thing you really want from them? I don't know. I really love my job and working there. The only thing I don't like is getting home late. How important is it that you stay late? Honestly, not really. Every bar and restaurant has their own manager who can do anything I can at that time of the night. Your hours now are from 2 to 10 or 11 every night? Yeah, roughly. So would life be better working 10 to 7, and would they suffer because of it? Yeah, then I could walk the girls to the bus stop in the mornings, and be home to tuck them in at night, and it shouldn't matter to the hotel. Okay, then that's what we want. What about money? Honestly, they pay me really well, so if they just pay me for the time I'm off and the medical bills, I will be happy. Okay, we will wait for them to call.
Tina. Carson was indeed the miracle worker he claimed to be. When the general manager called back, he had the hotel lawyer on the line with him. They came right out and asked what it would take to make me happy. I told them I loved my job and the hotel. The only thing I would like is shifting my hours slightly, medical expenses, and full pay while I was off. They couldn't say yes fast enough. My mood immediately improved and I actually enjoyed hanging out with Carson the next few days. My nightly shower time seemed to get steamier and steamier. The love dreams had started again, and I found myself actually fantasizing about him during the day while watching him work. By Thursday, I was starting to go stir crazy, tired of being stuck inside 24/7. Suddenly, I felt selfish when I realized that Carson had barely left my side in a week. I had to be cutting into his social life. Carson, I'm sorry if I'm cutting into your social life. The girls and I would probably be okay for a night if you have any dates planned for this weekend. I don't really date anymore. I thought that was really odd. Do you mind if I ask why? He just shrugged his shoulders and put his palms up in the air. I don't know. Change in attitude and priorities, I guess. Oh, I'm sorry if I screwed anything up for you. On the contrary, you've opened my eyes. That really confused me. How did I open his eyes? Oh, well, I'm starting to go stir crazy stuck inside, so I imagine it is even worse for you knowing you could be doing something else. Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting out for a while myself. Do you have plans this weekend? I looked at him and rolled my eyes. Well, I was going to take the girls ice skating in the pool if it froze over. If it doesn't, I'm going to run a marathon. Other than that, nothing important. Haha. Well, do you trust me to make some plans for us all to get out of the apartment? What kind of plans? That's where the trust part comes in. Now answer me honestly, please. Do you trust me? He looked straight into my eyes, and I could tell he wasn't just asking about getting us out of the apartment. Honestly, I trust you more than I have ever trusted anyone. He just looked relieved and smiled at me. That night, we were enjoying another wonderful dinner made by Carson. We all discovered that he is a damn good cook. I have been comfortable enough to sit at the table in the wheelchair while we all ate together. So, girls, would you like to go on an adventure Saturday or hang around the apartment? They both looked excited right away. What kind of adventure? It is a surprise. I just wanted to know if you wanted to go or stay here. Adventure. Okay, I will take care of it. As usual, Carson kicked everyone out of the kitchen and wouldn't let anyone help him clean up. I was so thankful for him, I hoped I could repay him someday. Carson, as usual, carried me into the girls' room to tuck them into bed. They were excited for their adventure, but were still asleep within minutes. He carried me into the bathroom and sat me on the bar stool. I brushed my teeth, washed my face, and brushed my hair. I don't know what came over me, but tonight I dabbed a tiny bit of perfume on each side of my neck. I told him I was done, and he carried me out to the recliner. I felt him inhale my scent deeply as he sat me down. His face lingered by my neck for a few moments before he gave me a quick kiss on the cheek. He went about his way getting me ready for bed, making sure I was comfortable, enough blankets to keep me warm. Good night, Tina. I hope you sleep well. How the hell was I going to sleep after that kiss? It wasn't much, but my cheek was still hot where his lips had touched me. My God, this man is driving me crazy. I can't believe the lust I have been feeling for him. Friday, after he walked the girls back home from the bus stop, he told us he was going shopping for our adventure. Said, "Do you girls want me to bring pizza back for dinner?" Yes. He came over to me and kneeled beside the recliner and put his hand on mine. Is there anything at all I can get you while I'm out? I shivered as he touched me, wondering where this feeling of excitement had come from. Actually, since I haven't needed a pain pill for a few days, I could go for some drinks. Of course, anything for you. When he said that, it sent another shiver down my spine. No wonder he got all the ladies. He is definitely smooth. He was gone for only a couple hours, but the apartment felt empty without him. He came back with a couple of pizzas and drinks. Okay, girls, here's a boring cheese pizza for you. What did you get? I got a Supreme with pineapple and sauerkraut. Ew. That's why I got you a cheese pizza, so I don't have to share mine. I was curious, and tried a piece of Carson's pizza. I had to admit it was pretty good. I watched the girls eyeing his pizza and knew what was coming. Carson, can I have a piece of your pizza? What surprised me was how he responded. No, you won't like it. I watched the reverse psychology unfold before my eyes, and it was amusing. That's until I wondered if he was doing the same thing to me. Can I have a bite? He looked at Emily like he was thinking hard. Okay, I will give you a bite. But you will hate it. It was hard not to laugh when she took the bite from him. He kept telling her to spit it out if she didn't like it, but sure enough, she chewed it up and swallowed it. That's so good. Really? You think so? Yeah. That means you have grown up with taste buds on your tongue. Really? Yeah, I can't believe you have them when you're only 10 years old. Now it was Lily's turn to try it. Nope, it's yucky. I still have kid taste buds. That made for a good laugh. After dinner, we decided to watch the girls' favorite Pixar movie, Brave. I had seen it a dozen times, but Carson never had. I sat there with another full glass and watched him and the girls. He was on the couch with Lily on his lap and Emily curled up beside him. I felt a pang of sadness when I realized how good of a father he would have been for them. It was obvious they all loved each other. I was feeling pretty good. I was intently watching Carson when he turned and caught me staring at him. I'm sure I blushed pretty hard, but he just gave me a nice smile. After the movie was over, he got the girls to bed, and me in the bathroom. By then, I was feeling pretty tipsy and put a little more perfume on my neck. When he came for me, I wrapped my arms a little tighter around his neck, making it feel more like an embrace. When he laid me down onto the recliner, he once again lingered by my neck before kissing my cheek right below my ear. This time, it was more than just a quick peck. He actually whispered in my ear before letting go. Good night, Tina. At that point, I finally admitted to myself that I had fallen in love with him.
Chapter 8. Carson. It wasn't long before I heard Tina's breathing become soft. I could tell that she was pretty tipsy by the way she held on to me when I was carrying her back, and the smell of the extra perfume she had put on. I'm not sure what the fragrance is, but it is the perfect match for her. Once again, I kissed her cheek goodnight, fighting the urge to smother her mouth with mine. I decided I had to be very careful not to cross a line with her, especially if she had been drinking. It took me forever to fall asleep. I could smell her perfume from where she laid. I concentrated on the sounds of her breathing, trying to match mine to hers. I was finally able to drift off to sleep, but she haunted my dreams as well. I was jolted awake by two girls jumping on me. It's time for our adventure. Okay, girls, go brush your teeth and get dressed. I started to move when suddenly I realized that I had a bad case of morning wood, and Tina was looking right at me. I stayed under the blanket and acted like I was tired and started stretching a little, willing it to go away. Finally, it went down enough to get up, and I made everyone breakfast and then made and packed a picnic lunch in the cooler. Carson, I don't really want to go out in public in just a nightshirt. I could see her point. Do you have a really loose-fitting pair of shorts that will slip over your cast? No. Okay, hold on. I ran over to my apartment and found a pair of basketball shorts. They would look funny on her, but would do the job. I went back, picked her up, and sat her on the side of her bed. Okay, I will get these up over your cast if you think you can lay them back and pull them up. Do you want a normal shirt? Yeah. Top middle drawer, can you hand me a bra and my shirt hanging up that says Lucky on it? I think she enjoyed seeing my discomfort at going through her underwear drawer. I laid her bra and shirt by her side and slid the shorts up as far as I safely could. I shut the door behind me and heard her laughing as she tried to pull her shorts up. I loaded the wheelchair and cooler in the back of my Jeep along with as many pillows and blankets I could cram in. Okay, ladies, we have an hour's drive ahead of us, Tina. You're in charge of the radio. I took them to Garden of the Gods. It is a beautiful park with wondrous rock formations and wildlife. The best part is, there are several paved trails that are easy to navigate for anyone in a wheelchair. I stopped near a trail that I had chosen ahead of time that was less than a 2-mile loop. It was a beautiful late summer day and the weather was perfect. I pushed Tina while the girls walked along, pointing at everything, talking away. When we were halfway around, we stopped to look at some bighorn sheep that was hanging on the side of a cliff as if by magic. I put my hand on her shoulder and leaned down by her ear. Hey, are you doing okay? Yeah, I can't imagine a more perfect day, thank you. She surprised me by putting her hand on top of mine and kissing me on the cheek. She blushed a little and smiled shyly. I was awestruck by her display of affection to me. The girls were awestruck by the jagged rocks sticking straight out of the ground like something out of a science fiction movie. By the time we made the loop, it was lunchtime. I drove us to a shaded spot a little farther down the trail for our picnic. I laid out several blankets and then several pillows to make Tina as comfortable as possible. I carried her over and laid her down in her little nest as gently as I could. Everyone loved the picnic. The girls were full of laughter, and I had never seen Tina so happy. I realized then that I wanted this for the rest of my life. I didn't want to start over. This is the family I wanted. I kept catching Tina's eye. Each time I did, it was accompanied by a smile. I'm glad I'm able to give them some happiness. After a long picnic, we drove on to another location and took another hike. I pushed Tina slowly, letting the girls range ahead. You're an amazing mother. You really think so? Yeah, the girls are so perfect, and that's a direct result of how you have raised them. Thanks, Carson. I put my hand on her shoulder and gave it a little squeeze. After our second hike, the girls decided that they had enough walking for one day. We explored the rest of the park from the Jeep before finally getting back on the road towards Denver and home. I took them to one of my favorite steakhouses for dinner. Tina tried arguing with me over the bill until I gave her a look that made her give up. I froze when the waitress visited us for the final time. You girls are so wonderful. Your mom and dad here must be so proud. Tina surprised me, putting her hand on mine. Nodding at our waitress, she said, "You're right, we are." I made sure to tip the waitress very well.
Tina. Carson had given us a perfect day, and for the first time I realized what it would be like to have a complete family. I loved it every time he picked me up to carry me somewhere. His strong arms always carried me so effortlessly. I almost wished my legs would never heal. By the time we got back to the apartment, the girls could barely keep their eyes open even though it wasn't even 8 o'clock. Carson got the girls cleaned up and put to bed, leaving us alone early on a Saturday night. What can I get you, Tina? I could go for some drinks. We chatted for a while. Our conversations always flowed so easily now. I decided I needed a shower before we went to bed. Carson, can you help me get into the shower? Usually Emily helped me get the water going, but she was sound asleep, so it was up to Carson to help me. He got me in the chair, closed the shower curtain, and turned on the water. When the water went cold, he turned it off and handed me a towel behind the curtain. I felt so pretty knowing I was naked with only a thin sheet of plastic separating us. He handed me a clean nightshirt that I slipped on as far as I could. Okay, I'm ready. I had picked my sheer nightshirt again, and I was flattered by the look he gave me. He picked me up and sat me on the bar stool. He got on his knees and started drying my foot and leg so he could put my walking boot back on. I had dreamed of this more than once, and the drink finally made me brave enough. I swung my right leg with the cast on it over and let it rest on the edge of the tub, resulting in my legs being spread wide open, with Carson on his knees before me. I will give him credit. He tried to be a gentleman until I pulled up my nightgown and cleared my throat. He looked up and our eyes met, and we both just knew. He placed his hands on the inside of my legs as if to give me a chance to stop him. When I didn't, he leaned down and kissed the inside of my knee. And then again, slowly a little farther up my leg. I was trembling with anticipation. This was a first for me, as Raoul had never done it even once. Very slowly, he started kissing me. He knew exactly what to do. Then he picked me up and sat me back down on the vanity top. Suddenly, I decided I didn't want my first time with him to be in the bathroom. I pulled my shirt back down, and by the time he got back, I had composed myself. He took one look on my face, and then just nodded. He just got back on his knees and put my boot back on. Then he picked me up, carried me to the recliner, and kissed me on the cheek. Carson. Yeah? I'm sorry, I just didn't want our first time to be on the bathroom countertop. I totally understand. I would like to be held, though, if that's something you want to do. He walked over, picked me up, and sat down, cradling me in his arms like a mother would a baby. He didn't push me. Instead, he just held me and pressed his head to mine. Tina. Yeah. I'm madly in love with you. I'm madly in love with you, too.
Chapter 9. Carson. She loves me. It was the best thing I have ever heard in my life. I slept in the recliner with Tina in my arms. Although I didn't sleep great, it was by far the best night of my life. Sunday morning, I made breakfast, did laundry, and cleaned the apartment. Tina and I kept giving each other covert looks and smiles. I was the happiest man in the world, taking care of my family. I didn't even care that I was doing their laundry and cleaning. We hadn't talked about making our romance known to the girls, so I acted like nothing had changed until we had a chance to talk about it. Sunday night, after I got the girls to bed, I sat in the recliner and cradled Tina in my arms once again. Tina, yeah? You know I'm in love with you, right? Yeah, I'm in love with you too. I don't want to wait anymore. Will you be my wife? I heard her deep breath. Several moments went by before she answered me. No, Carson. I didn't know what to do. She said no. The pain in my chest was like nothing I had ever felt before. What did I do wrong? She said she loved me, but maybe not that much, or even worse yet. Did she love me like a brother? I sat there holding her for a few minutes. Eventually I couldn't take it any longer. I stood up, sat her on the chair, and kissed her cheek. Like a coward, I went back to my own apartment and crawled into my own bed for the first time in over a week. I laid there and cried like a baby. What did I do wrong? Every doubt in the world ran through my mind. I should have stuck to my plan, party like crazy until I was 30, and then find a young single woman to be my wife. None of that mattered now. I was in love with Tina, and I already loved the girls like they were my own. It would destroy me if I lost the 3 most important women in my life.
Tina. Carson caught me totally by surprise when he asked me to marry him. I don't know why, but I panicked and said no. I don't know why I did. I loved Carson. He loved me. He loved the girls. They loved him. So what is the problem? I don't think I would ever be able to find a better man, or one who treated me and the girls better. You can't take back a word once it is spoken out loud, and regret is one of the worst things to live with. I would give anything to take back my answer. The hurt look on his face made me feel so guilty. He sat me down, kissed my cheek, and left. I wanted to call out to wait, but I couldn't. Once he left, I cried for my own stupidity, hoping I hadn't ruined everything. Finally, I picked up my phone. We couldn't go to sleep with this hanging over us. Me. Hey. Thankfully, he answered me. I wasn't so sure he would anymore. Carson. Hey. Me. I'm sorry, you totally caught me by surprise and I panicked. Carson. It's okay, I understand. Me. How about we go on a few dates, and then you ask me again? Please, please, please.
Carson, anything for you.
Those were magic words to me. Me. Carson, please come back. I really need you to hold me tonight if you still want to hold me, that is. He didn't answer me, but a few moments later I heard the front door open. He picked me up, cradled me in his arms, and sat us down in the recliner. I softly cried myself to sleep in his arms. The next morning, when the girls woke up, he laid me on the couch and got them ready for school. After he walked them to the bus stop, he came back and held me in his arms once again. I'm sorry I just sprung that on you. It wasn't a fair thing to do. Now what? Now we go on a few dates and someday I will ask you again. Okay. We quickly fell into a comfortable boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. We decided to tell the girls so we didn't have to hide our feelings for each other around them. They were overjoyed that we were dating. I could tell they were already hoping he would become their father someday soon. Wednesday, he asked me if we could go to the pub for kids' night. I said yes, but inside I was nervous. I know he has slept with several of the women in the complex, and this would be our first public appearance as a couple. I wanted to look nice, so I spent an extra long time in the bathroom. When Carson came to get me, he was speechless. I thought we were going to the pub for kids' night. We are. Then why do you look like we are going to a 5-star restaurant with the president? Because I know there is a good chance we may run into some women from your past life, and I want to make sure you don't have any regrets about giving up your freedom. He came over and gave me a long, loving kiss. Trust me, I will never ever regret giving up that life. He helped me get dressed. It was nice not to have to worry about him seeing a little extra flesh here and there. Actually, I enjoyed giving him a little extra look, enjoying his reaction every time. I was finally satisfied with how I looked, and we headed out for dinner. Carson was pushing me into the pub, and sure enough, Linda walked in at the same time. My God, Tina, what happened? I was in an accident at work. One leg is broken pretty badly, the other one just has a crack. How are you getting around? Carson has pretty much moved in and is taking care of us. She looked at me and raised an eyebrow as if she was waiting for more. Yeah, and we are together now, right, dear? He reached down and kissed my cheek. Yeah, you caught me. Hook, line, and sinker. We sat with Linda while the kids all went off and enjoyed the buffet together. My woman's spider senses started tingling, picking up looks and whispers about Carson. I reached over and placed my hand on top of his, as if I was staking my claim. Carson was oblivious to all of it, but I felt like the queen of the Nile by his side. Linda picked up on it as well and smiled knowingly. So, Carson, you're officially off the market? Yeah, I finally found one worth keeping. Hopefully she will keep me. I picked up his hand and pulled him to me and gave him a kiss. I plan on it. I was so proud, I felt like I had won the grand prize. Once we got the girls to bed for the night, I asked Carson to snuggle with me on the couch for a while. As soon as he sat down beside me, I attacked him, smothering him with the most passionate kisses I could. After a few minutes, we finally had to stop for a breath. Wow, woman, what got into you? I'm proud to be your woman. You don't even realize how many women were looking at us and talking about you tonight, do you? Not really, I only have eyes for you now. You're a very smart man. We kissed for a while before getting ready for bed. We had already started a new nighttime ritual of me sleeping in his arms in the recliner. I am looking forward to when I have my legs working again, and we could sleep in a bed together. The days quickly turned into weeks. The doctor cleared me to use crutches, which finally gave me some more freedom. As promised, Carson started taking me out on dates. He made sure every other one included the girls as a family night. I started to become intimately frustrated. Carson was a perfect gentleman, and as much as I was ready to further our intimate life, he wouldn't go past passionate kissing. I decided he was waiting for me to make the next move. I just needed to find the perfect time to do it. After 7 weeks, I finally had my cast removed and graduated to a walking boot. I called the hotel and informed them I would be ready to come back to work next week. The doctor told me I needed a few days to build up the strength in my leg again. Carson decided we needed to celebrate with a romantic dinner. I dressed as hot as I could, breaking out my little black dress. I felt a little odd wearing it with a walking boot, but looking in the mirror, I decided I still looked great. Dinner was wonderful, but the company was even better. I decided to get a little personal with him. Can I ask you a personal question? You can always ask me anything you want. That's been quite a while. So why haven't we moved past the hot, passionate kissing stage yet? I moved too quickly once already. I don't want to make the same mistake twice. Plus, I wanted to make sure you knew I wasn't just looking for intimacy. You didn't move too fast before, you just caught me by surprise. He smiled at me and gave my hand a squeeze. After our date, we were walking down the hallway to my apartment. Instead of walking past his door, I stopped. Carson, in here. He opened the door and followed me in. I walked slowly into his bedroom, feeling his eyes on my butt. Without turning around, I stopped, unzipped my dress, and let it fall to the floor. The look on his face was pure hunger and lust. I felt satisfied with my efforts so far. Now, to see if I had pushed him far enough along.
Chapter 10. Carson. I had never laid my eyes on such a beautiful and hot woman. I walked forward and took her into my arms, dipping down and giving her the longest, most sensual kiss I could. I wasn't going to hurry. We both had waited so long, and I was going to savor every moment. I kissed my way down her neck. Then I returned my lips to hers for another soft kiss, before trailing down the other side of her neck and slid that bra strap down as well. I kept my hands around her waist while she started on the buttons of my shirt. I had been planning on this night for weeks and was intent on giving her my best effort ever. By the end, both of us were breathing heavily, laying there snuggling in our bliss. Carson, do you have something to ask me now? Yeah. Well, are you ready for round 2? She laughed at me and smacked my arm. You know that's not the right question. Soon, my love, soon. I hope so. Since you brought it up, we should talk about a few things. Like? The girls, for one. I would love to adopt them if we would get married. I hoped you would. I know they are dreaming of it. What about more babies? I could probably be coerced in 1 or 2 more as long as we practiced for a while first. I would love to practice with you. Anything else? I make great money. I know we haven't really talked about finances. Do you want to keep working or stay at home? Carson, I love my job and I want to be the youngest F&B general manager in the company. What is F&B? Food and beverage. Would that be here? No, it would be in another city. Is that okay? I work from home, so it doesn't matter to me. You know I will follow you anywhere. Anything else, my love? Yeah, can we start sleeping in your bed? She laughed at me. Yeah, we probably should. I would hate for the girls to wake up and we were gone.
Tina. I was woken by the giggles of 2 little girls taking pictures of Carson and I snuggled up in my bed. Thankfully, we were smart enough last night to put on our pajamas. He still didn't ask me as the days and weeks went by. I was starting to get nervous, but every time I had a funny look on my face, he would just kiss my cheek and whisper one word. Patience. Carson taught me how to love and take pleasure. I quickly realized that Raul did it only for himself. Carson, on the other hand, just wanted to bring me as much pleasure as possible. Every time it just reinforced how much I wanted to be his wife. Forever. The one nice thing about the hotel and convention business is there are never any conventions around the holidays, which meant I was free to go home for Thanksgiving. I warned my parents that I was bringing Carson home and to be on their best behavior. I told Carson that my mother would love him, and my father would probably give him the 3rd degree. I can't remember Dad ever approving of one guy I had dated when I was younger. He absolutely hated Raul, although I have to admit he knocked that one out of the ballpark. When we came home, my mother hugged Carson longer than me and the girls, whispering in his ear as she did. I rolled my eyes. Mom, I told you to be on your best behavior. I am just welcoming him to our home. Carson walked up to my father and offered his hand. Hello, I'm Carson. It is a pleasure to meet you, sir. Thankfully, my father shook his hand instead of leaving him hanging like he did to some past boyfriends. Welcome to our home, Carson. The rest of the evening, the girls filled my parents' ears about tales of their life in Denver. I began to notice that each one of them had Carson in it. I realized what an important part of our lives he had become. Carson, I'm smoking a turkey tomorrow. Would you like to help me? I would love to. I have always wanted to smoke a turkey, but it's kind of hard living in an apartment. I raised my eyebrow at Carson, not sure whether I should believe him or not. The girls and I slept in my old room while Carson slept on the couch. I felt bad for him, but he didn't seem to mind. I felt worse for myself. It was the first night in months I haven't slept in his arms, and it was horrible. When I woke up the next morning, Carson and my dad were already outside hanging around the smoker. What is it with men, fire, and meat I will never understand? I walked out and gave Carson a good morning hug and kiss, not caring what my father thought. He was my man, and he would have to get used to it. I started helping my mom prepare Thanksgiving dinner. I watched Carson and my father talking around the smoker. They looked like they were negotiating a deal on a used car instead of cooking a fat bird. I was shocked when I finally saw my father put his hand on Carson's shoulder and extend his other hand in a handshake. I couldn't believe my eyes. Did Dad actually like him? Thanksgiving dinner was wonderful, although Carson had an amused look on his face the entire time. Even my father seemed to be acting like something was up. After dinner, we were sitting in their living room relaxing before it was time for pie. Suddenly, Carson walked over to me and got down on one knee, producing a tiny black box out of nowhere. Tina, I love you more than anything in the world. Your father has given me his blessing, and I'm hoping that you will become my wife for the rest of my life. I started crying, while putting out my trembling hand for him to slide the ring on. Once he did, I threw my arms around his neck while sobbing into his shoulder and nodding my head. I couldn't stop crying long enough to say yes, but I think he understood. Once I stopped crying, I leaned up and gave him a long, soft kiss. I love you, Carson.
I love you, Tina.
He gave me another peck on the cheek and sat down on the couch. Girls, will you come here? He motioned for them to each take a seat on one of his knees. Somehow he produced 2 more little black boxes and handed one to each of the girls. Girls, I love you so much. Would you be willing to become my daughters? By then, the entire family was crying while the girls opened their boxes. Inside, each one held a locket with their name engraved on them. When they opened them, each side held a picture of Carson and I. They had him put them around their necks, vowing to never take them off. Who would have thought that 2 neighbors who couldn't stand each other would end up falling madly in love and becoming a family? Certainly not me, and definitely not the womanizer who thought that single moms didn't deserve a second look.